The engine is starting up. 3, 2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us?
Putting a dip in your hip, a glide in your stride. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe, with shows throughout the week. Everything you want, everything you could need. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from the spiritual to the unknown, from emotions to comedy. You can find us at Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so much more. This is Rift Nation Network, the RNN. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
Sensitive/offensive content disclaimer. Please note that this podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
What is up, all you freaks out there? This is Ryan.
And this is Rhonda.
You're coming here with a brand spanking new theme song.
I am liking it. It's reminiscent of the Munsters.
Yeah, it is. It was,
I love it.
It was a spooky beach party.
Perfect.
Yes.
It's perfect.
I figured brand new platform, brand new song.
I like
And
it.
I did not realize this, but this is actually Canadian Thanksgiving, or the Canadian Christmas today.
Is it?
It is. It is Canadian Christmas because it is National Maple Syrup Day, which is probably bigger than Christmas up there.
Well, and that's just ironic that we've got Kerrilynn Shellhorn tonight.
I know.
She's from Canada.
She's probably celebrating. Hopefully, Teresa will be joining us too.
Yeah, I hope
on this
Teresa's
festive,
celebrating.
taking shots of log cabin syrup while she's watching the show.
Yes.
It's also the festival of winter walks.
That would
today.
make sense. I feel like
Yes.
that's appropriate. Although
Yes.
it's like 70 degrees here again in Virginia today.
Yeah,
So
It
I
is.
mean, not as appropriate as it was, but
No, it'd be more appropriate this weekend when the temperature plummets.
yep.
Yeah, we'll have to celebrate it late. We'll celebrate winter walks and chug maple syrup while we're doing it.
Maple syrup is good on everything. It's
Yeah,
really good.
it
And
does.
you could warm yourself up with some of that.
Let's examine that comment Maple syrup is good on anything. So I don't know if I want maple syrup on pizza. Well, it might be good.
No, I guess you're right. But it's good on a lot of things.
It is. It is. I'm sure it's, you know, they'll find lots of uses for maple syrup up there in our neighbor to the north. Hope you're having a good day. Of course, our first day, well, not counting last week's show, my first day on the job here at the Riff Nation Network, I get COVID.
Oh, no.
So, yeah.
I tell
So
you
I'm gonna
what,
have to mute myself.
tis the season. Tis the season.
Oh my
I think
God.
I had the start of like a sinus infection or something going on like over the weekend. And luckily I just kind of like orange juiced it, you know, zinc, all the good things in it. It made it go away.
Yeah, I definitely need to find myself some vitamin C
Yes.
and get rid of this junk. RJ has a play on Thursday.
Oh,
He's
nice.
playing Joseph in the pageant.
He's got a big role in the
Yes.
Christmas pageant. Hello.
Yes, I'm super excited.
Yay.
Of course, I may not be able to be there, so that part sucks. But I'm so proud of him to, you know, have such a big part in the play. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, kick rocks, Rona. That's right, Heidi. Yeah, do that. Give you a shout out. That's right, buddy.
Renee
And
said
Renee-
maple syrup moonshine.
Oh man, that'd be good for breakfast.
That would warm you up on
Yes.
your winter walk.
Oh my gosh. We need to think about this next year. Of course, next year will be a different holiday. It won't matter because you know we only celebrate holidays on Tuesdays. Occasionally on Thursday.
Occasional
Once a month.
Thursday, and once in a blue moon on a Sunday.
Sunday, yes. So this holiday falls on those 3 days. It doesn't even count.
Those don't
Luckily,
count.
Christmas Eve is on a Tuesday, I think.
It is. It is.
So we can celebrate it. We just won't be on here. So so you have any cards to read tonight?
I do. I figured I'd pull a card or two. Let's see what we got. I'm gonna give it one more quick shuffle. See what the collective needs to know tonight.
Woo-hoo. Shonda's here. Paul Fowler's here. Super excited.
All right, let's see what we got. Oh, this is an interesting one. The Queen of Pentacles.
The Queen of Pentacles.
Yeah, so Pentacles are all about stability, be it in your finances or in your life or in your relationships. It's just overall kind of stability. And the Queen of Stability, to me, she just kind of represents that nurturing and guidance that you need in order to fulfill all the things that make you happy and make you feel fulfilled. So I think this card, if I look at it for a collective, I kind of look at it as stepping back. You know, we're at a time where we can, we're coming into a new year and maybe start thinking about and working on how you want to nurture the things in your life that you really want to bring more in, that make you calm and collected and comfortable and stable. Start thinking about those things that maybe you want to change or tweak for the new year and be ready to bring those into fruition. I feel like it's just a card of kind of mothering yourself a little bit and looking out for yourself and figuring out like what it is you need to do to make your life a little more grounded and happy in the new year.
Those are some great advice from the Queen of Pentacles.
Yeah.
Or as Phil Payette says, the Queen of Tentacles.
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 All right, let's see what our jokester cards have to say along with that. You never know what they're gonna say. So I'm just gonna randomly pull. Okay. It says, take a freaking trip. Take a trip. Go see some shit. Do some new things. Talk to people cooler than you. So I feel like that kind of does flow into the Queen of Pentacles, because you need to find someone when you're looking at how you want to improve things for yourself in the new year. Think of people that you know that are already there that can maybe mentor you and help you along and give you some good advice on how to get there. New things are always good, and there's always somebody out there cooler than you that can bring you along with them. The
Yeah,
cards
don't play it. No, don't play it safe. Challenge yourself.
Yeah.
Find what you're passionate about, and find someone who's good at what you're passionate about, and learn from them.
Yes.
And live your life.
Exactly.
So I'm running out of curse words.
You cannot run out of curse words.
I mean, running out of old curse words that need to be brought back.
Curse words.
Old curse words. I don't know the rules on Rift, how racy I can be on this show. So before I go down that road.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. But you can watch our old shows, and we can talk about that, and we might bring back some curse. We might bring back some curse words. You never know.
Yeah.
We like to keep you on your toes here. But I did find a phrase, like old phrases that need to be brought back.
Okay.
And the one I found is all hat and no cattle, which is basically.
I know that one. That's the one used in Texas a lot. All hat, no cattle.
All hat and no cattle. We got Michelle Wilford.
You're a whole lot of talk and don't have much to show for it.
Exactly. Exactly. And I have a new segment called Freaky Facts.
Ooh.
And the freaky fact of the day is the unicorn is Scotland's national animal. So
I can see that. Magical place, magical being. I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. That the unicorn is Scotland's national animal. You know what's even cooler?
What?
We had Kerrilynn Shellhorn on our show, the host of the podcast The Spirit Switchboard, psychic medium. She's joining us on Canadian Christmas, National Maple Syrup Day. It's also Canadian Maple Syrup Day, so it's 2 holidays in one. I feel like I need to grab my
I feel like I'm inappropriately dressed.
Yes, I need to wear like a plaid shirt so I look like a lumberjack. I think of like kicks. I think, and we tell you, we love Canada. I got some Tim Hortons coffee one time at Publix. It is so good. So I'm right there. I love Tim Hortons. I love Canada. So we're excited to have her on the show with us. Let's bring her on, psychic medium and podcast host, Kerrilynn Shellhorn.
Hey.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I got my plaid pants on.
Nice.
You were dressed. Didn't fill me in ahead of time. I could have worn my plaid.
I got
Did you guys see, on Amazon Prime, there's a new show out called The Sticky.
The Sticky?
The Sticky. And it is loosely based on the Montreal maple syrup heist.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So if you maple syrup lovers need to get in on the Montreal maple syrup heist, because it was a big deal here. Like big money. Maple syrup is big money, and it's a big business.
See? Have a whole holiday for you. You ever hear about that molasses flood that happened in Boston?
Mm-mm.
There was like a big vat of molasses, I guess, turned over. It's something you would think would be like on a cartoon or something, but let me see if I can find information on it, because like people died. Let's see here.
From molasses.
Yeah. There it is, right here. The Great Molasses Flood, also known as the Boston Molasses Disaster. It kind of rhymes, doesn't it? Occurred on January 15th, 1919, when molasses tank in Boston's North End ruptured, sending 2.3 million gallons of molasses into the neighborhood. Wow. The molasses tank was built in 1915 by the USIA and can hold more than 2 million gallons of molasses. The tank frequently leaked and rumbled. On January 12th, 1919, the steamer Melrose pumped 600,000 gallons of warm molasses into the tank, which accelerated fermentation and increased the pressure of the tank walls. It killed 21 people. and injured 150. So
That's crazy.
can you
That is
imagine?
wild.
You know,
It's like
you were
lava molasses coming at
a
you.
lava of molasses. Imagine dying from a flood of molasses. That's like the worst
I mean,
way to go.
that flood would have to be fast because molasses is so slow. It's not
Yeah.
like it doesn't come pouring out fast. It must have like just been a big on
Yeah.
top of people.
It was boiling. So I guess it was kind of like
Oh,
boiling hot molasses coming at you. You just mind your own business. 1919, having a good time. You were just outside. January, probably pretty cold.
that little fact has ruined my love and cravings for like the molasses ginger cookies at Christmas with white chocolate on it. Like now I'm just gonna think about dead people eating my
People
cookies.
dead. Yes, people
Well,
died.
Thank you.
January in
You
Boston is probably snow.
probably.
So that's even
brought-
wilder because it would have melted all. Oh my goodness.
129 people killed by molasses. How'd your dad die? Oh well, he was drowned in boiling hot molasses.
Crazy.
I think there I just ruined molasses for you guys, but I know there's a huge molasses
That's wild.
tangent here on the show. We're big in the molasses community from what I understand. So it was all the way back in 1919, over 100 years ago.
Wow.
So I think enough time has passed between now and then, so we can start eating molasses again. We can bring it back.
Yeah.
We can
Unless
watch.
you guys talk to dead people, chick.
Imagine-
We're just gonna we've just invited them all in.
you go to Boston and do an EVP session and talk to the people who were killed by
Yeah.
molasses.
That'd be kind of fun, actually.
Yeah. You want to talk to the Patriots or the guys from the Revolution? No, I want to talk to the people who were killed by the molasses flood.
Don't give me ideas, Ryan, because now I can do that.
Is it even listed? There's all those lists of like 101 weird ways to die. That you'd think that would be listed in one of those,
Yeah.
That's 102 apparently.
Yeah.
Just missed out. The molasses flood of Boston molasses disaster. That sounds like a
Molasses disaster.
like a weird board game for kids. It's molasses disaster.
Yeah.
Hey kids,
That's so sweet.
there's like a board game. We have to like avoid the flood. You got to use your little pieces. We're going to hell. This is our first show on the Riff Nation Network, and we're about to get canceled
Why?
by Big Molasses.
No.
You know how they watch these shows. They're gonna kick us off.
Keith said, "Is
Courtney-
everybody wearing pants?" Kerrilynn has already admitted she's wearing pants.
Plaid ones. I'm too chubby to lift my leg up that high. It's not gonna happen. Trust me. I
We're
got
all in pants.
plaid pants on tonight.
I've got my plaid pajama bottoms on.
No, they're not. I thought I'd be in pajamas tonight for the show because it's 9:00. It's kind of like late for me, but
Yeah.
they're like regular pants I got on even.
Gosh. Well, I mean,
So
you've probably been celebrating all day, with all the maple syrup and stuff you're doing, going with your friends, singing maple syrup carols. So,
I
I
did
understand.
make pancakes this morning for my granddaughter for breakfast.
There we go.
Yeah, 6:00 this morning, and she asked for her maple syrup.
Showing
I
her holiday
found this
spirit.
maple syrup moonshine somebody was talking about in the
Hey,
chat.
look, Renee.
So there's a company called Cabot Trail. So Cabot Trail does a maple syrup whiskey, and it's
Ooh.
lovely.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Thanks. Really wanting maple syrup right now.
More than
It's like-
molasses.
Yes, well, definitely more than molasses. God, I don't even remember the last time I had molasses.
The last time that I had to even use molasses was during one of the lockdowns when you couldn't access anything and I couldn't get brown sugar, so I was like mixing molasses with white sugar to make my brown sugar so I could do some baking.
Now you lose my glasses, you'll be like, what would we like to be drowning in this?
Oh, right? No.
God. So, anyways, welcome to the show. Hope you
Thanks for having me.
appreciate you coming on. You are the host of the Spirit Switchboard. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Spirit Switchboard is with United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network. Friday nights, 6 p.m. Eastern. I actually have a special guest coming on this Friday.
Who could that be?
Oh my God.
It's so crazy. It's crazy that, it's like a double dose of you and I all week. Everybody get ready. Strap in.
I know, like twice in 1 week. And the funny thing is, we planned this show months ago.
I know.
This just came up like 2 weeks ago.
So I do this thing called the 12 Days of Giving, the first 12 days of December every year. I think this is my 8th year doing this on social media. And every day it's something. If it's a discounted giveaway, join me on a paranormal investigation, a seance at my house, whatever. So last year I had this idea of one of the giveaways to be my guest on my show. And I had 2 other hosts, Laura Lee Potvin and David Hansel from The Thing at the Foot of the Bed, co-host with me as an extra bonus for the winner. They would get like all of us hosts at one time. So this year, I sent an invitation out to the ladies from the Beyond the Haunting. So Canada's Haunted Gold Rush, Corrine, Leanne, and Kelly. And I'm like, look, this is the idea for the show. We're going to pull the name for the winner, and we are going to do paranormal Christmas trivia. We're just going to play, some fun Christmas paranormal games and have fun and hang out. And they said, yeah, we're in. I'm like, get your ugly Christmas shirts ready. We're just going to have a good time. Right. And, you cut and paste all the names of the people and you stick them on this site, you click the button, it spins, confetti pops out, and your name popped out. And I'm sure I woke up the whole neighborhood going, woo!
What's funny is it came up on my memories that this past Friday was the first time I was on your show as a guest a year ago.
Yes, the 15th of December. It came up in the memories today. I think there's some like molasses spirit ghosts at work.
I agree.
Yes. You work in molasses ghosts work in mysterious ways. That's what I always say.
Yes. So it's a lot of fun. I mean, Michelle DeRoche, who is our network manager, she popped the idea. I mean, she's like, come have a show. It'll be fun. And I get to meet people like you guys and talk about the things that interest me that I don't necessarily get to do on a daily basis with work. And so that's fun. I'm loving it. It's been a year and a half now. So yeah.
You have a wide range of guests, like from mediums and paranormal to Bigfoot to authors to everything. So it's really cool.
Welcome to my brain. 18 tabs open. What am I thinking about this week? Yep. Who can I have on? And I had an online radio show like years and years and years ago, and it was for parenting kids who were sensitive because I was seeing spirits from the time I was little. So my, that was my first exposure at doing something like this. And it was actually based out of Tyler, Texas. So it was through Skype, and I would do my thing and the producer would do his thing. And that's how I did the show back then too. It was a little of everything in supporting people and where my interests were. And we're complex people, right? With many interests. And it gives me an opportunity to dive into all of that.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about being able to do shows like this and talk to people like you and really learn about your interests and, learn about, how people view the world differently,
And there's always room to learn and grow. I don't claim to be an expert at anything. Hi, Contessa.
I love that name, by the way, Contessa. That's awesome.
Too.
So Contessa Martins was also one of the winners of the 12 days. So she's going to be coming to my house to do a seance.
I would love to do that. I would. That's why I even entered that one contest. It's like I can't go there, and I can't like just quickly get all these places. I said I could do that.
Yeah. And that's the hard part I find with the 12 days is making sure there's some sort of balance for the people that are far away that can still participate too, right? And I don't know. I'm not tech savvy. I need to I need anybody out there want to be my friend that is a little more tech savvy. Because maybe we could do those seances live too, right? And try to figure out how to do it differently than how I do it currently. But
you have another year to figure it out.
they're a lot of fun.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
That's awesome. So how did you get into the paranormal? How did you realize that you had the gifts that you do have?
So it really started when I was little. Like I was 5 and my parents built a house beside my grandparents. So I was very blessed and privileged to be able to grow up beside them and saw spirits in that house from the time that I was little. So it just stayed with me. It didn't really go away. My kids, I have 4 children, adults now. I have 4 adult children, and they were seeing spirits when they were little as well too. So there was a push by the time my youngest, who's 19, when he was born, it was just so much in our space, and that push to do it as a career was really there. And I stepped into doing it, kind of letting the universe know, if you're wanting me to do this, I'm willing to do it, but bring it on. And then it came like flooding in. There was just no other option. It's in my face and here we go. So stepping into doing it full time that way. So, it didn't feel scary as a kid. I didn't have a lot of necessarily scary experiences. If I did, I have buried them deep and they haven't surfaced yet. A few things that have been scary, but I mean, living people scare me more than the paranormal stuff for the most part.
Amen.
You know how that is. That's for sure. So you got what you asked for when you asked for a sign from the universe, and they're like, all right.
Oh yeah. And I was pretty specific about it too. Like I wanted a certain number of people, and I've been doing this now full time 18 years, right? So full-time 18 years. So at the beginning, I was asking, I wanted 6 people to book a session, 6 people to comment by the end of the week. So that they wanted a session. And then when it came to teaching, and I'm pretty transparent about this as well too. Like everyone would ask, because it was so involved with children and helping and supporting kids that were having experiences in making that normal. So people would ask if I had a parenting program, and I went, yeah, I do. Can I just take your name and I'll let you know when I'm going to run a course? And I didn't have one. But I just figured they're asking. So the universe is kind of sticking it in my way, but I wasn't confident enough yet, but I wasn't going to tell them no. So I'm like, yes, I do. Yes, I do. And then had that number when I had 12 people or, whatever that number was. And then I'm like, okay, I got that number and I got it quick. So now I need to put it together. And it just took off from there. But it was like supporting, that's really where it started for me, was supporting families with children who are having experiences like I did as a kid.
Oh, very cool. So from the time you kind of said, okay, this is what I'm going to do full time with my mediumship and with coaching parents with children, did you start the paranormal investigations right then, or did you wait a while, or what got you kind of leaning? It's like, hey, let me take this and start going to some haunted places and see what happens.
Just pure interest on my own, had not even work related. And then I was doing it on my own, just out of interest. Love history, love stories. I think I'm nosy in a good way. I think I'm nosy enough that makes me good at my job. Yeah. Oh yeah, you say that your grandma? Pony up and show me. How are you related? Which side of the family? How old were you when you died? How many kids you got? Did you have any miscarriages? I rhyme out 1,000 questions. Show me everything. And so the investigations, and actually my nosiness is what started the investigations. If I'm with other people. It was nosiness. I was in Kingston, so I don't know if you guys know our Ontario geography very well, but so
Yeah, I'm
Kingston
not
about 5
too
hours
clueless.
for me ish. And I would go, I had about 13 or 14 different venues that I would do this event called Dining with the Dead. So Dining with the Dead, I've been doing for 13 years. Restaurants would host me. People would have their dinners, and then I give messages from spirit. So I had these 13 or 14 venues that I was doing on rotation every 6 weeks between March and November. And in the Kingston area, I would stay for a few days and also do sessions and other things. And it would be like me and the Hydro Ontario guys at the motel. And so I would like drive around and look for the historic plaque signs and do some investigation. So I went to actually the winner from last year, Jen Welsh, Jen Welsh Wilson. I'm sorry if I mucked that up, Jen, and you're watching. Her husband is a minister, and her husband were caretakers of one of those historic places, and it was a church that I had stopped at. And they came out, and they were like all tattooed and super cool, and I'm like, oh, it's like my people. And they're like, are you? And I'm like, yes. And I said, can I do my thing? They're like, sure. So I go through and I'm like, this is what dude's saying in this church and this property. And it validated a group that had been there the week before. The original minister, the spirit in that church, was describing the people from the paranormal group that was there the week before, and complaining about them smoking on the property and stuff. Like he was really giving it to them. And then a year later, I made a post on social media about it, and that's how I got connected with that paranormal group. And then it kind of went from there. But like with a group, that's how it started. But usually it's by myself.
That's really interesting. I've never thought about, when I was doing an investigation, asking the spirits, especially if it's somewhere you're used to going to, so you know the kind of interaction you get and who you're kind of working with at those locations. What do you think of who was here last? Or like, what do you think, like when we were at Belgrove, like, what do you think of the last guest that stayed in this room? Like ask questions like that. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, so I didn't necessarily ask.
But he was just offering up.
Yeah, he was like, you need to let them know. The dude that was smoking was stinking up my church. And I mean, Darren has since passed. Darren, that investigator, has since passed on. And I went there. I went to that church a year ago, and I was really hoping, I did an EVP blast outside of the church, hoping that Darren would come through, because that's our connection and how we connected. And I still haven't listened to the recording yet. I know it's really bad. You're supposed to listen to everything right away, but I haven't been emotionally ready to listen to it yet. So I haven't used that recorder. That recorder's sitting on the shelf, and I'll get there eventually.
I have my fingers crossed I get to experience an investigation with Kerrilynn as a live person. Me too.
Me too.
Me too.
We can make that happen. Rhonda, we can make that happen.
Yes, we can. We might make that happen in 2025. We might just do it.
I think so. We should.
We already got a trip to Boston planned for our molasses ghost hunt.
I mean, now we
have to now.
Kind of have to now.
Yeah. I'm like in the middle of some like rough neighborhood, like the ghetto of Boston.
I live in a rough neighborhood. I can handle it. We'll be all right.
Are there rough neighborhoods in Canada? Really? Because they're so nice.
Do what we do and talk to spirits, and they'll think we're all crazy and avoid it.
Yeah. We're talking to dead people. Mm-hmm. Talking to people who drowned in molasses. That'll scare them away.
And you know what? I'm apologizing. If there is any descendants or people that are connected, I am not making light of the situation. I apologize if it.
I didn't even know about it. Ryan has these facts that he just spews out, and you're like, what?
Well, I heard about it. I'm like, there's no way. Because I'm thinking molasses going like this,
That's what I mean. It would be like it would have to like dump.
Yeah.
Like a.
No, I guess if you boil it, it comes out pretty fast.
Shoo.
Mm.
And like, it just has are they all really short like me? So then it gets a big pile. So they, like,
Probably, yeah.
you know, like how deep
How did
is
this
that?
happen?
How deep?
So we have to investigate to understand. Like, give us the specs on this thing. Like,
Yes.
how
And
did
how
this
tall are you?
occur?
Mm.
Like, I don't know.
Mhm.
You know, I
Ask
bet when you
questions.
came on the show, you weren't thinking about talking about molasses.
No, but it's
Yeah,
great.
It's kind of in-depth discussion we have on the Freakin' Awesome Paranormal Show.
We do
Yeah.
interviews and random facts
Yes.
Love
all the
it.
time.
Yes.
Maybe it's a Ryan thing. I have a Ryan. My second son's name is Ryan, and he is a fact kid too.
Yes.
Factoids, Ripley's Believe It or Not books. Anything that's got those quick facts, he's all about it.
Now
Very
you can
cool.
tell your son Ryan about the molasses disaster,
Mm.
which I still think would be a fun game for kids.
Well, you need to get your name stamped on it now before you know
Yes.
how many people listen to your show and take it
Oh
and
my
run with
God,
it.
they're probably taking it right now. They're taking it
Yeah,
to the
you need to get
patent
on your
office.
patent.
I'll go to Walmart next year for Christmas.
There it is.
Somebody stole your idea.
God.
Get
Yes.
on it.
I'm glad they have that warning at the
Mhm.
beginning of the show after this molasses talk, because now since we warned you, some of our talk may be a little contentious.
So Jennifer Frost Casista, she's from actually she's been to a seance too. She has a Ryan too. She's saying her Ryan is a fact kid. It's a thing.
Tell you what, man,
It's a thing.
that is a thing. Apparently, I had no idea.
Mm.
Fact man.
We're learning all kinds of
Man.
stuff tonight.
And tell Ryan, to both Ryans, that welcome to the brotherhood. Love your name.
Yes.
And,
Oh,
yeah.
my kid's not so. I think Jennifer's son too is an adult. Mine's a dad now.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I'm a dad too. So I mean, I'm
Yeah.
saying like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I got two kids, a 7-year-old and a 21-year-old.
Oh, fine.
Yes. He is. RJ is. He's a handful, but he's fun. He's also a Ryan too. So
So there you
There
have
you
Who's your
go.
brother?
Ryans are cuties. Ryans are sweet. All of them across the board. Any Ryan I've met.
So do you ever get people from the States at like a paranormal location get you to do a reading about like their building or whatever?
Like have I gone
remote
into the States
view
to do
or
it?
something? Yeah, or from where you are, can you do a remote?
Oh yeah, I
view?
can remote view.
Ooh.
Yeah, I can remote view into the States.
Really?
So
Good for
I've
you.
gone to I had an opportunity to go to California. Oh, Rose. What are we talking
Rose.
about?
Well,
Let's see. Random facts. Being a medium, working in the paranormal.
and people
Well,
being killed by
molasses.
molasses, murdered by molasses,
Murder by molasses.
murdered by molasses.
Mhm.
The molasses murder mystery. That's even better. That is even better. Not a mystery, but it sounds better.
Right.
So sorry, back to what we were talking
You
about.
were to
United
California.
States. So I haven't done a whole lot. I haven't actually done a whole lot in the United States. I had an opportunity to go down and meet friends. I started in La Jolla and I worked my way up to Santa Cruz and kind of hit spots like the Whaley House. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
The
Hey, Kevin.
Whaley House. We kind of, I just went all the way up. But it was not necessarily for people. I was at David Oman's house. So I investigated there, which was a whole experience in itself. Yeah. So not a whole lot in the States. But during sessions, it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
What is your favorite place to investigate up in Canada?
So I don't know if I have a particular plea. I love cemeteries, and I know it's a touchy point with a lot of people, but I I love walking around cemeteries. Love walking around
I
There's
love
some peaceful ones.
cemeteries too. Yeah.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
I always felt like I never got a lot in cemeteries and graveyards until recently. We went to one in Lynchburg, Virginia, and it kind of changed my perspective on that. It's like, okay,
What, Old
maybe it was
City
just where I
Paranormal,
was. Yeah, with Hill
the
City.
Old City. Yeah.
Yeah, there's one. There's one here that I'm just not gonna name out loud, just because we don't want anything icky to happen. Because not everybody is respectful when they're, but it doesn't matter when we go. There's stuff that happens, and it's crazy. It's crazy the stuff that happens there.
Is there anything when you're investigating a cemetery that you find works better as far as how you approach the investigation or the equipment you use or anything like that that might be different or that maybe people aren't thinking about?
So you do approach cemeteries differently than locations or buildings. I approach cemeteries like I do if I'm doing a property read for people. So if I'm going to, for a while, I was doing a lot of reads on farm properties, like where there was old bank barns or buildings that were taken down and then other houses built on it, or farm properties that were going to be sold, people wanting to know how their ancestors felt about all of the changes on the property. So I was doing a lot of farm like property reads. So I treat the cemetery reads kind of like I do those property reads. What I have found with cemeteries, it's making sure that you're asking, well, I guess it's the same. I don't know. Asking with the appropriate language. Like if you're talking to somebody that's, 1800s, you're going to talk, you're going to use words that are appropriate to them that they're going to understand, right? Like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But I have found when I'm doing the cemeteries, back left corners, always pretty crazy, looking past the fence line. Like I go to a lot of the pioneer cemeteries. So looking past the fence line because the property lines have shifted and changed or they've moved things. So on the outskirts is where things get kind of crazy as well too, because, people that were poor, people who maybe they didn't know their names, people that had done things that were wrong, kind of got buried on that outside. So you're going to have potentially, and be ready, be open, and know what you're doing. And if you don't know, then have somebody with you, right?
Yeah.
Yes, style and language of the time. Thank you, Howie, for articulating that for me.
Why do you think spirits stick around cemeteries?
I think there's lots of reasons. Not proper closure with their passing, not knowing, maybe not realizing, being far away from family. Like the one cemetery that we go to, they're from Ireland and came here to set up home before their family came, and they died before their family came. You can see it on the way the headstones are. So there's some of that, not knowing belief systems. Like if they were scared and didn't transition, their fear will keep them here. So not crossing over because of that. So sometimes we're crossing people over. Some people choose to stay stuck. The one cemetery that we go to, there is a spirit that's keeping people. He's really an intense energy to tap into. Like he makes people feel sick when we're there. So we limit. And checking cemeteries out, there's so much to it. Making sure that you have permission to go if you're going to be there at nighttime. If you're going during the day, that you're being respectful. Like you don't need to be pulling out a K2 meter if there's people that are grieving right beside you. Like you would hope that common sense and respect would prevail, but sometimes you have to let people know how to behave.
Yeah, unfortunately, those are not assumptions we should make.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's like not trespassing. Um, and then checking it out during the day. Like you don't know if there's divots, like those, looking for the indentations, because sometimes that's an indicator of where there's an unmarked grave as well too. So checking out during the day so you have an idea of where you want to focus. And
That's
I
a
don't
good
really
idea.
bring a whole lot of equipment when we go, but I think it's a great way to suss things out. Like if you're thinking of creating a team, are you going to work well? Are they going to react? How do they react? How do they talk? Do you jive well? You know, it's a good place to try equipment out. It's a good place to, you know, feel people out and how you're going to get on during an investigation. You have, the space as well too. You can keep an eye on people better when you are in the cemetery. There's just lots about it that I appreciate as a foundation in building.
How does
Yeah.
how does investigating or going to a cemetery compare to, I don't know how many battlefields they have in Canada, but I guess it's mostly like Native American or Indian wars up there. How does it compare to, because they're both open?
Well,
And
Niagara on the Lake, that whole area, Kingston, like they have the cemeteries in Niagara on the Lake and Niagara Falls. They're so intense and from war. So
yeah,
there's a lot there. The one that's not even the one I can talk about. Yes, Jody. We do have more. So Jody is my graveyard babe. We have matching t-shirts that say graveyard babe.
nice.
So she is my graveyard babe, partner in crime. And we do have more success when we keep it simple and old school. So Jody, I was just going to talk about the Otterville. That one I feel okay about talking about. And it's connected to the Underground Railroad. And it was where people were brought. And so they started a church. Church is no longer there, but all of the graves were unmarked. So we can't even get on. I've taken people for intuitive development there during the day. Jody and I went kind of like that twilight time. And we got just at the edge and everything went crazy. Our phones were shutting off and on and random apps were coming. The GoPro cam shut off, the power drained, and it was like brand new. We were just getting started on our evening. Every piece of equipment died right at the edge of that. We didn't even get in.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That says a lot.
The emotions, right? The emotions that are attached. It's not far from a river. The history of it. It didn't feel like they were pushing out. I just think sometimes even that energy is just so big and being able to connect that it blows everything. Everything.
Do you think spirits, when like a graveyard has become overrun or run down and forgotten, do you think spirits come back to that there's the site where the bodies are, and do you think they get angry because of what's going on, or are they just like, all right, well,
angry because of being investigated?
Or no, because there is a cemetery here just outside of Richmond called Evergreen. It is a African American cemetery that has really been overgrown. It's actually a forest now.
Yeah, you can barely tell it was ever a cemetery.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, yes. So I have noticed that. Actually, Jody and our friend Tina and I just did like a pioneer. We call it our pioneer cemetery crawl, and so we do it like in good weather, end of March, April to in November, and we went to this one cemetery that it's listed. You do a Google search and it will come up that it's like one of the hauntest and most haunted ones. And we went there and it was the most well cared for cemetery we have ever experienced. And we were commenting about that. The ones that aren't, and what the energy feels like, the ones that aren't remembered and taken care of, and the ones that are, and how drastically unless it's a time of day or something, but we were getting not a lot. We weren't getting a lot. And the guy who takes care of the cemetery that was being taken care of, he came up to talk to us, and I just started asking him all kinds of questions, and he gave us lots of history about it. And he was irritated with that moniker of being the most haunted, and people coming thinking that they're going to have these intense experiences because he pours so much love into taking care of it. And we really weren't picking up anything. The ones where I think it was the same day, Jody. Can you remind me, Jody? I think it was the same day that we went to that other place where it was so drastically different, broken headstones everywhere, not taken care of. And it was a vibe as soon as you got there. Not a nice one. Not a nice one at all.
I'll send you pictures of Evergreen Cemetery, because it is.
It'll probably break my heart. I'll probably start to cry.
Yeah, we put out flags every Memorial Day and Veterans Day out there for the soldiers that are buried out there. So, because we see people, put flags out at Hollywood Cemetery, which is the big cemetery here in Richmond. So we wanted to honor the veterans that were buried out there to give them respect,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's important. But again, any cemetery that you're going to, it was upsetting energy for sure, Jody. Any cemetery that you're going to go to, any location, just saying who you are and what your intention is and why you're there. Like, all of that matters. All of it matters. And we had like the one experience, I don't know. I should have sent you the picture. See, Jody and her demon dog. I don't know what it was, but it was like at that twilight time, and the feeling of disrespect, ruined stone spirits definitely upset that one. I agree. It was angsty. That one was angsty. So we were doing we tend to choose 3 if we're not feeling that are relatively close together. So if it feels like not much happening at one, we move on to the next one. But what happened was just such a sequence of events that happened. We were at one. Jody is saying, I think I saw a dog, but none of us saw a dog. There was no dog. So she starts taking pictures, and then she went back the next day, same time period, stood in the same spot, took another picture, but it was like a demon dog or a demon baby. I don't know what it is, but you can see it standing there peeking right around. And at the same time, I was feeling like I had been shot. Like, I'm shot. I know I've been shot. I don't feel good. And I feel super sick. And it was angsty, like we needed to go. There was stuff about being away. There was just lots of information coming in from the spirit. So we left that and went to the next cemetery. And there was a big plaque talking about the murder of the spirit that I was tapping into. He brought us right to like the next cemetery we went to. There was a whole big plaque all about this murder, and all the information that I was picking up was on this plaque, and his place of burial was right behind the plaque. He took us right there. So That's one that I want to tap into a little bit more, because every time we go, there's weirdness that happens. Oh,
Ryan, you're muted.
Forgot I was coughing earlier. I forgot to unmute myself.
COVID mic.
COVID, yes, I got the COVID mic going. Wow, that's amazing. We don't really talk about cemeteries much on the show. We usually talk about
certain locations,
anything else, but cemeteries, because it's tough, because like your friend, like the guy said, isn't like people just coming out to investigate because they heard it's the most haunted cemetery, and it's it's got to be like, you got to be aware of the fact that there are people, people's loved ones are buried out there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a fine line you got to try to maintain.
Exactly. And I'm pretty protective about the one in particular, because it's still used. It's, even though there's sort of like this pioneer cemetery section, those other pioneer cemeteries are like have churches that aren't being used. And a couple of them we found, my other friend, Carrie, she's like, get on your geocaching app. And some of the ones that we found were through geocaching.
Oh, wow.
Like, because they find these random, like, out of the way pioneer cemeteries, right? And those are the ones, and I think because they're forgotten, like some of them you're walking through ditches and hedgerows to get to them, right? And there's definitely energies attached to them.
What's that app that people use? It's like what is it? Not geocaching, it's something else. But it was like you have to like use your energy to find a place. If you want to find like a haunted or abandoned building, you use your energy, you think about it, and then it gives you coordinates. And people are like finding all this weird stuff.
I don't know that.
Ryan.
Not necro. What is that? Look it up.
I've never heard of that either.
No.
That's like a paranormal scavenger hunt.
They have those here.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Randonautica, that's what it is. Randonautica. You
Randonautics.
basically open it up and you give an intention of what you want to find. Say you want to find a beautiful meadow, but you don't say it. You
Think it.
think about it. Yeah, and people are finding like one person found like a body in a suitcase or something, and it was just weird. Now
that doesn't feel good.
yes, Angie.
Like in any way, that feels really bad.
Randonautics.
Randonautica. So
Wow.
now we
So,
have
like,
more
if
stuff
you
to do.
sign up for that, do you have to give them your information and stuff so they would like know stuff about you too?
All right, let's see it. An app considered weird for finding stuff is Randonautica, which generates random coordinates for users to explore based on intention they set in their mind, essentially encouraging them to go to a random location in hopes of finding something interesting or meaningful. So, I mean, obviously it doesn't happen all the time.
Not off the beaten path and well lit and
Yes,
Of course, it probably wouldn't be.
yes.
For me, it wouldn't be. I'd end up somewhere really sketch.
Yeah. Well, little safety tip: don't do Randonautica at night. So probably end up in a bad way.
Well, yeah. So if we're going back to cemeteries, if you're going at nighttime, know what the rules are. If you're bending the rules, be asking for permission. Have your identification with you in case, Popo shows up, you're trespassing. So, like, be ready for that.
Watch where you're walking. That's another.
Bug spray.
Well,
that's why checking it out during the day. Like, we have not even explored a third of what is close by within an hour and a half of home.
Really?
Oh, there's so many. There are so many pioneer cemeteries, and that's it. Like, you can go in an afternoon and still have things happen. It doesn't have to be necessarily at night.
Yeah, I run the cabin on 360 with my friend Dennis down here. It's a haunted location, and we get stuff during the day all the time. We go out there every Tuesday, and we've gotten some crazy EVPs during the day, and it's not, don't have a schedule. They're like, okay, we'll talk to you now. Yeah. It's not like, sun goes down. Oh, time to go to work.
This is it. So we do some, twilight, like that twilight time is like my favorite time.
Yes. In the graveyard of the mountains, hidden away in the back with old buildings, hearing spooky sounds as spirits act like her GPS. This is true.
Yes. I think that would be great. And then we could test it out, Rhonda. We could whistle and see what happens. Because apparently you're not supposed to whistle at night.
You're not supposed to whistle.
No, especially in the mountains. But I do.
You're supposed to actually not look into the horizon of the woods at a certain time of night. Yeah, we do all the stuff we're not supposed to.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah.
How much you gonna know? And just make sure somebody's got a camera.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Just want to make sure it gets on film.
Doesn't count if it's not on film. Well, Kerrilynn, I want to thank you very much for coming on the show. One more question for you. What does being in the paranormal mean to you?
Oh, you know what? The first word that came into my mind was community.
That's awesome. I like that answer.
Yes.
It was the very first, community, and more so since starting the podcast and all of you guys. There's an extended family that has been created that means a lot to me. So community, that's what it means to me.
I love it. I love it. So how can the people, the freaks and the surfers and the rifters find you? Where can they find your stuff?
Pretty easy to find. So it's KerrilynnShellhorn.com is the website. I have a newsletter that goes out at the beginning of every month. All kinds of fun stuff in there. Social media, Facebook, Instagram. I joined TikTok, but Lord love me, I've got one thing up there because I got to figure it out.
I tried taking you on my TikTok today.
Well, you might as well wait. Well,
Yeah.
I forget you're in Canada. I guess Canada will get to keep it. We have to wait because supposedly in January we're not allowed to have it anymore.
So I haven't invested a whole lot because I don't know what's going to happen, like what really is going to happen here
Right,
either.
right.
But there, if you go, you're going to listen to my mom laugh, and you guys have not met my mom, and that's a pretty big deal. It was big enough that I posted it for the whole world to hear. From a whole mom to hear. So Spirit Switchboard Fridays, 6 p.m. Eastern. Rhonda is coming on this week with the ladies from Beyond the Haunting. Please like and subscribe on YouTube.
Yeah, it's a wonderful show.
Yeah, I need to see if I can come on the Spirit Switchboard. Me and Dennis and I to come on and talk about the cabin on 360.
I would love it, and I got openings. I think I even have an opening at the end of this month, the last day, January 3rd to.
I'll talk to Dennis. Let's see if we can get at least get him on there. It might be working, but at least get him on there to talk about the cabin with you guys, with you. And are you by yourself? Or you have a co-host, or is it just you? Awesome. So I'll talk to Dennis. I'll get him to message you about coming on the show.
Okay.
Perfect.
Sounds
Thank
great.
you. Thank you so much for joining us again. You know, I know what time it is there. Hopefully you have some more time to celebrate maple syrup day.
I keep it in the freezer. I keep a small jar in the freezer. We say tug off the jug. We're gonna take a tug off the jug.
Just take one out there.
Tug off the jug. I like it.
Like a moonshine jug of maple syrup. It's just coming out.
Yes.
Throw one down for all the victims of the molasses disaster.
Yes. I'll say a prayer for
R.I.P.
Yes.
Got it. All right. Thank you, Kerrilynn. Don't forget to watch Rhonda Harris on the Spirit Switchboard.
This Friday.
Part of the 12 days of Christmas.
Eastern.
All right, guys. All right, Kerrilynn. We'll talk to you soon.
Have a good night.
Thank
You
you.
Bye. That was fun.
Yes, I told you,
Enjoyed
Carrie,
that.
was a blast.
Yeah, that was fun. We got to talk about molasses, maple syrup.
We could have gone even further
cemeteries.
because she's into UFOs and cryptids and all that too. We could have kept on going.
We need to have her back on. I'll have her back on when my brain is just totally gone right now. I'm
It's
surprised.
okay.
we
I'm
finished this
proud
show.
of you for even. I'm a wimp. When I'm sick like that, you wouldn't have to go on the show. I'd be like,
I don't want to miss
"Bad about the gums."
the first show, maybe the last guest. Haven't heard back from Jim about moving the show to
That's
Thursday.
okay. That's okay. We've got a plan.
Yes. So next week we'll not be here Tuesday because it's Christmas Eve, and apparently people don't want to. They want to spend time with their families and not come out and hang out with us on the Freakin Awesome Paranormal Show. I'm not sure, why, but we have to move
I
our.
don't know.
We're moving our
but
show to Thursday night.
Waiting on that big guy to come with all their gifts and whatnot.
Yes, the big guy, Santa Claus, is coming to town in a week.
Yep,
We
and
got a
Carrie
lot of-
Lynn will be on the Orion Effect at the end of this month.
Oh my gosh! this
December is the month of Carrie Lynn.
month. The month of Carrie Lynn.
Yes. What a great
That is
way to
so
end the
cool.
year. Carrie
It
Lynn.
is. Man, that's awesome. So we had Michelle Plummer, Jody McGrath, Z-Sun Dragon, Linda Nelson, Contessa Martins, Sia Bun Nolan, Denise Mitz, Robert White, Gene Schneider, Chris Benchero, Dennis Eslock, Heidi Gold, Michelle Wilfong, Angie Parker, Sean and Courtney from Hill City Paranormal, Keith Ottersberg, Lois Clark, Lisa Marie Willie, Phil Payette, and Shonda Brooks. And if I miss any people, sorry, they won't let me scroll all the way up to the top for some reason. Thank you so much for coming on the show, joining us on our first official Rift Nation Network show.
Yes.
Thank you, travelers. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes.
Like and subscribe to the Freakin Awesome Paranormal Show YouTube. Come see us on Facebook. Check out the Rift Nation Network pages as well. And check out all the shows we have on the Rift Nation Network. We cover everything.
We do.
And we
Something
talk about
for everyone.
We talk about to ghosts. We talk about aliens. We talk about molasses. I mean, we shoot.
Sometimes we'll throw in random curse words.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes
We
we'll
like
show,
to spread the knowledge.
we'll teach your kids old, new curse words to use that, won't get them in trouble. So we're here to educate the children.
That's right.
On the Freakin Awesome Paranormal Show. Thank you, Michelle Wilfong. #Rift.
That's right.
That's right. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and end the show. We'll be back here next Thursday night. Same freaking awesome time.
Same freaking awesome show.
All right. Let's see if I can get this right here.